going to begin, Michael, by asking, I mean, when you're playing a boxer, I mean, so much is about training and fitness and kind of physique, but it's also the very subtle things, the positioning, the stance. I mean, how did you go about perfecting that side of it as well as looking the part?
I think just putting the time in, honestly, and working with real fighters. We had the luxury of working with all professional fighters and their trainers. So honestly, the hours we spent in the gym, anything that looked inauthentic or or goofy or just not right, they were quick to be there and correct it and fix it. And I was readily to willing to take their advice and put the time in to make sure I got it right.
And in regards to the moment on set where you did get knocked out, how did that kind of occur? What happened? And were you able to go back onto the shoot later on that day, or did you need a couple of days break?
No. So okay, this is a story. So all right, we tried to do the shot a few times. That's a slow-mo shot. After when Adonis gets knocked down in the 11th round, we tried a few times to do it with me just slipping the punch, and not actually taking the hit. But it's a super slow motion, and we replayed it on this, and you can see the gap. I mean, it was huge. It was just too big of a gap. And a few times we did it, Sly's in the corner, and he's like, and we're just like, what? Like, what's going on? Come on over here. Was it like tell us, like you know what I'm saying? Like, because he was doing it for him. It was the first thing that it was the one he didn't direct. You know what I'm saying? So he wanted to let Ryan kind of do his own thing. So every once in a while he would try to, just kind of like not say anything, whatever. But then he couldn't contain himself, and he had to come out and just say what he had to say. So it was like, all right, come on, let's talk about it. So he's like, Mike, you gotta take the real punch. And I was like, what? He said, you gotta take a real hit. And I was like, well, did you do it? He said, yeah, I did it. I said, okay, I gotta do it. Let's do it. So then, Tony's like warming up, and he's like warming up on the pads and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh man, I'm getting real nervous. I'm jittery and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's just do it. So we did it, took the real punch, went down, and I'm down there, and I'm like, oh man, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I was like, okay, it's not as bad. So then they replayed on the big screen, and they realized that Tony's hand covered the camera, and they didn't get it. So we had to do it again. All right, so for the second time, I got up there and I said, just run it back real quick. Let's do it one more time. And I took the punch again, and that one I felt. I felt the second one. I felt the second one for sure. And I'm down there, and I'm literally down there. I'm out. I'm trying to play knocked out. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this really hurts. And I'm just like, I'm like breathing the canvas in. You know what I'm saying? I just remember what the canvas smells like. You know what I mean? So it was an intense hit. But anyway, that's how that punch kind of came about.
You must have wanted that to be in the movie, just because then it makes it kind of a bit more worthwhile.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Yes.
And I was wondering, I mean, Ryan has made 2 movies now, which obviously you've worked in both, and for me, both are kind of just perfect. Both are fantastic films. I mean, what is he like to work with as a filmmaker? So I just met him, and he seems so down to earth, and obviously being the same age as well. I mean, does that kind of help, kind of speaking to him on a kind of level?
Speaking on the same language, we're from similar places. We care about the same things. Our family, we're very deep in our family. And creatively have the same taste in a lot of things. So for us, it's being collaborators. Like we really we lean on each other for strength. If we ever don't know anything, we're never ashamed to ask questions or to talk to one another or figure it out. And if we agree, sometimes we agree to disagree. But that's very rare. But me and him, I don't know. It's just something about him. I feel extremely lucky to find a director that has so much chemistry so early in my career.
I mean, this film is one, I mean, he's been very vocal about how personal it is to him and about his own relationship with his father.
Exactly.
So when you were portraying the role, I mean, did you have to try and approach it with your own to try and find your own intimate, personal route into the character, or were you almost using his to kind of reflect onto the role?
I think it was a little both. I think it was more mine, and then because he wasn't as vocal about the situation with his dad as much as he was towards the last few months or so, like now. So when we were shooting the project, that knowledge wasn't that was more of a personal thing that he kept to himself, rightfully so. I mean, that's totally fine. But, I had enough information to kind of dive in and layer the performance as much as possible without all those fine little details that was so personal to him.
So just finally, very quickly, he has spoken about wanting to potentially do more Creed in the future. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the answer I was hoping for.
Yeah, man.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Man,
it's been a real pleasure. Cheers. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You